Hello, you amazing, wonderful works of art. I have my earphones in for my computer, so I'm gonna take those out. I am making this video because I recently shared in a newsletter that I took a week off. And I thought that might be interesting to some of you, and it turns out it was very, very interesting to a lot of you to ask, how did you take a week off? And so I wanted to share how I did that and get really specific and clear, and encourage you to consider taking the time that you need for yourself, whether that is a week, whether that's a quarter, whether that is a day. So taking care of ourselves is important. We all know it. And there's a lot of talk about self-care these days, but in my experience, what we're talking about when we say self-care is actually soul care. It's much deeper, it's much richer, it's much more important than like a manicure, right? Or like a fancy cup of coffee. We're actually talking about like taking care of our insides, which is one of the least selfish things that we can do, even though it takes courage and it takes putting a stake in the sand for yourself. And for those of us who are allergic to selfishness, who hate it when we see it, who have been trained consciously or subconsciously to not be selfish, it's kind of a wild process. So I thinking about the times that I've taken time off. My maternity leave was 3 months. I was an entrepreneur, just having started my coaching business. I was an actor. I don't know that I booked out except for those first few tender weeks, and it just wasn't a super busy season as an actor. But I took 3 months off, and that was at a time when my husband was working maybe part-time. We weren't really rolling in it, but it was a value of mine to be fully present with my daughter and to save for that and to do what we could to get paid for parental leave for that and to use our savings for that. That was a really important time. The next time that I took time off was actually last year in the spring. Our taxes were coming due and I just was not having time with a 2-year-old to get them done. And I needed to take an administrative time, a week off. And so that looked like moving client sessions to a week before or a week after. It looked like putting projects on pause to pick up back when I was back. It looked like communicating with my partner to make sure that I had time to work in that time and really accomplish what I needed to do, which was taxes, a bunch of just sort of administrative things, probably some doctor's appointments, probably some like, what also happens is like our garage usually gets a little crazy, like the house gets crazy and then the garage gets crazy, and just kind of tidying, right? And then this most recent time, I took a week off in September, knowing that it was the 1-year anniversary of my dad's passing. And that same week, my daughter's 3rd birthday, because life is a little bit extra and needed those 2 things to happen in 1 calendar week. So I knew that September was going to be a big month. And if you didn't get a chance to read my last newsletter, you know that I chose into the idea of it being a simple September. That I could be simple in the midst of some incredibly high highs, low lows, the first year of not even knowing how I was going to be in that time of remembering my dad's passing. Still in shock, still not totally there with it, but I knew I wanted to give myself some time and space to just be wherever I was. And so as I looked at September, knowing that my birthday was in there, Birdie's birthday was in there, all these things, I decided that the week, the actual calendar week of my dad's passing to Birdie's birthday, I wanted to be present with myself. I wanted to have time to sort of veg. I wanted to have time to prep and plan for her birthday party. We never do too much of a blowout, but I know that I can get more stressed and less present if there's more things on my plate or the things back up. And so here's the meat of it. This is how it works for me. First, I get really clear. I got to get really clear that taking time off is something that is a desire of mine, not getting lost in the how, but instead knowing that I desire to do this. Secondly, that it will serve me and then it will serve those that I serve, whether that's my family or my clients, knowing that taking time away is going to be something that deeply supports me so that I can support them, right? Like a little bit of that oxygen mask on your face first. And thirdly, it's something that I'm committed to. I'm committed to creating time off. So from that sense of clarity, I move into the next phase, which is setting context. Setting context will change the game. Setting context is the empathy of communication. Setting context with the people is like getting everybody on board. I love the feeling of being at camp, because I feel like at camp, we're like, okay, guys, we got to do this together. And that's what context setting is. It's like, hey, I need to bring you up and into something. I need to let you know that something is going to be happening, or that I need something. And so first, you're going to reach out to the people that are your main support team, like your partner or, I don't know, maybe boss, if you're working for someone, but really your teammates in your time off, right? So this is a place where there's going to be some negotiation, some kind of back and forth a little bit. This isn't about just communicating, which will be the next step of like telling people this is what it's going to be. This is the people that are like, hey. So go to somebody who is in your life, is in your world, and be like, listen, I really think it's going to serve me to take some time off. I maybe haven't been at my best and I need to just take some personal days, recalibrate. I need to create some time to finish this project that I've been working on. And, or I need to be out in a different way. So I want this to happen within a time period. I want this to happen in the next 4 weeks, in the next 2 months, the next 6 weeks. Let's look together on the calendar to see when this can work best, right? If it's a boss, maybe it's a little bit more of a request situation of like, listen, I've had some things in my life occur. I really need to be taking care of myself, my personal life. I want to take an entire week. I'll be using paid time, or just I'm not going to get paid for that time. Let's look together to see when that would be best. Here's my first idea. Here's my second. How does that work for you? For me, I knew it was going to be the week of Dad to Birdie. Just needed to be that. Setting that context, getting them on board, talking things through. And then the next piece is communicating that to those who will sort of be your next layer of the target or the bullseye. So for me, it's letting my clients know, like, hey, I just want to let you know, I'll be available before and after. I am going to be taking this week off. And kind of putting those things in play. Maybe that means having a babysitter a little bit even more on call, or an extra day. Maybe that looks like offering your partner, hey, I'll take more family responsibilities the weekend before and the weekend after, so that I know I can lean on you for this. Of course, you're going to want to figure out whatever your systems are. Like, I just sort of made dinner and did life normal. But if you really want time away, you can make plans for that as well. So for me, those are the 3 things of really getting clear that this is important, that this is something I'm committed to. Secondly, setting context for really what you think you can even create in that time. Like, I'm going to come back more refreshed, more aligned. I'm going to have less stress on my head and on my shoulders. I'm going to have more like processes that'll work better for us. And then communicating that, just letting people know. And I will say that one of the most surprising things for me, especially as I started to serve clients, is how often people are like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. You're saying like, hey, I'm not going to be available for you. And they're like, that's incredible. Wow. So you're also being an example of what's possible when you say, all right, this is what I need. I'm going to follow through. I'm going to make this happen. So obviously there's nuances. There are times when this is easeful and you can just make that choice and go for it. There might be times when it's not possible in the same way. And maybe you just need to take a day, or a day every week for 3 weeks, and make it happen. Part of the other piece is, budgeting. And that's why holding strong fees and really honoring the value of what you offer is so important, is so that you can take from your reserves. And then the other question is like, how much is it going to cost for me to not take this time that I need? Because there is a cost. So from my heart to yours, I hope you take your time. And if you have more questions, please reach out. I'm more than happy to speak about your specific circumstances. I hope this was helpful. Goodbye, you works of art.